GG16 is an upper body workout with three main goals. We're gonna chisel the chest and build the back. We're gonna master the push-up and inverted row. We're also prepping for super advanced dip and pull-up work. Let's get right into it. A lot of technique breakdowns on this. One of the best 20-minute workouts you'll ever do for your upper body. Here we go. Before I get into each move, and I'll be showing the breakdown with the dip row bars and the push-up bars. If you have access to maybe higher-end equipment, a power rack, or a Smith machine, for example, where you can have a bar and adjust it up or down as needed, or even within a power rack with the pegs of the power rack, you can use that. You can also take a really thick, sturdy pole or bar and use it for, our rows. You can do overhand, underhand, mixed grip. Same thing applies whether you're using the high parallel bars or the low parallel bars. I can do that with my push-ups. So you can actually mix in that if you'd like. If you have a TRX, you can actually take it like this, put it through the foot cradles, and based on the angle you want, whether it's door attached or completely vertical, you actually go totally vertical and flat and make it a horizontal row. I can kind of do some straight bar work like that. This gives you more stability and strength when you hold a fixed object like this versus holding a bar independently from each hand. So you've got some options. Just want to give you some legs to this workout. Or if let's say you're traveling, usually training at home with minimal equipment, or you're going to the gym one day or traveling and you have access to a higher end gym, this is one of those workouts that you can do for the rest of your life and take it with you anytime, anywhere, and apply it to multiple modalities. So just wanted to touch on that. Let's get into the moves. This is not only an excellent drill to warm up for an upper body workout, I want you to take this outside of your sessions and apply it to your daily mobility, off day active recovery, or EHO every hour on the hour drills. You know the benefits of the hang. Spinal decompression, hip tractioning, shoulder mobility. But when you go wide and you go underhand and you wind those shoulders into external rotation in full flexion, now we've got, in my mind, the most important mobility exercise you can do. So we can apply this a couple ways. I like to actually personally start a hang like this. I take a heavy medicine ball. I go as high as 30 pounds plus. You can even start with a 5 or 10 ball. You squeeze it between the legs, engage the pelvic floor. That'll help get you more tractioning for the hips and more decompression as well for the spine, beyond enhancing the stretch for your upper body. I'll set up into it, and then I can begin. If I was gonna say let's do a 2-minute set, I can start by doing a maximum hang with the ball. So it's a weighted hang to begin. And by the way, I can go passive, I can go active, I can do my shrugs or pseudo front levers. I can even add some kind of controlled twists to really stretch out my spinal rotators. And then whatever time is left in this, or when I start to crap out on it, I can just put the ball to the side and then continue with a body weight hang in the same manner, and then back off even further to a self-assisted hang with one or both feet from a parallel or even a split stance, adding rotation. So again, this 2-minute block, I might say one movement on paper, but you can flow between heavy, loaded body weight to a self-assisted, or even then add, different movements, rotations, actions like that to really maximize the stretch. But this, again, you can do this comfortably without pain. It'll allow you pretty much to unlock almost any other upper body exercise. Great way to start a workout, great way to just warm up, recover, do all that good stuff. The mini band push-up is the ultimate push-up warm-up for many reasons. Number one, what is this gonna do? You put the mini band above the elbows, and when I'm actually into my push-up, it helps me really push out against that band. That's gonna help me engage my upper mid-back muscles, my scapular muscles, to really get more stability and support for the shoulder, more strength coming out of the push-up as well. So I also like to take the wedgies or slant boards and elevate my fingers to enhance the wrist stretch. I can get some wrist mobility baked into it. I get into my push-up position. Now as I lower, what is happening here? It's stretching, okay? So as it stretches, it actually will assist or slingshot me out of the bottom of the exercise. But again, it's really encouraging me to keep my arms about 30 to 45 degrees away from the trunk. Inhale down, even pause there. You can pause, you can kind of hover. It gives me a little self-assistance so I can actually spend time really kind of owning that position at the bottom, just mobilizing, owning that pocket, if you will, at the bottom. Exhale up. And this will be such a great way to groove your push-up technique as you start to go into more challenging variations. So again, you're never past the basics, and again, the best workouts will come from the best warm-up exercises. Again, it's gonna help ingrain good scapular mechanics. It's gonna help mobilize the shoulders, the wrists, obviously adding this action to it, And it also can help you. You can use this anytime you want as a back off exercise for higher reps, or just a warm-up drill, active recovery drill. So plug this in. You can also do it on the hands on the floor or push-up bars, but I love to get the wrist mobility into it too. You do this for like 10 to 20 reps, you're getting ready for the most smooth, supple, sexy push-ups of your life. Instantly fix your row form and maximize upper back activation with the mini band row sequence. Now put a mini band at the wrists for maximum effect. If you need to modify to make it a bit easier, you can go just above the elbow. But let's go to the wrist just to show this. Anytime I can, because I'm gonna be hinging here, I wanna elevate the toes in my warm-up drill and just stretch the ankles, calves, hamstrings, flat back, and head in line with the spine. Now, the beauty of the mini band, I'm gonna be pushing out. So I get a lateral force factor here, which really gets the intrinsic scapular muscles involved. It also helps you think of the row not just as, here, but pushing out against the band helps you get the most out of your rear delts and upper mid back. It also makes it so you're not being too elbow dominant on your pulls. So here we go. I get locked in. And I kind of like to do this. I could mix the grip every rep as I'm about to show, or I can just do a set palms facing to overhand, which is the hardest from a strength standpoint. Underhand is the hardest from a mobility standpoint. But I'm gonna exhale up, inhale down as I keep tension out against the band throughout the movement. So crack a nut between the shoulder blades right there, get wide. And then even coming down, keep that tension out against the band. I then can switch to overhand, pay attention between differences between sides, really maximize the iso contraction at the top. And then this one, really tough. You gotta pull it lower and then keep those thumbs, they wanna kind of turn on you, keep those thumbs turned out to really maximize the external rotation aspect of it. You get a little more lower lat, and we're gonna be using all these grips on the upcoming workout. So use it as an opportunity to really maximize the motion and set the tone for perfect form with heavier, full body weight based movements, okay? Enjoy. The hammer grip or palms facing neutral grip is your most joint friendly push-up option, all right? It's gonna put those shoulders and wrist in a neutral position, so you don't have as much of a mobility demand here. Great way to kind of start the workout and kind of grease the grip. It also can become kind of your go-to grip if you have shoulder issues or you just can't access some of the more challenging grip options throughout a workout. So I like using the push-up bars. You can modify with dumbbells. You can also go fists on the floor. Just make sure the surface is padded enough so it's a little bit comfortable for you. And this does give you a little bit of a elevation, little hands elevation, not so much, but just a little bit. So I could also elevate my feet on a box if I wanted to keep a more traditional flat angle. But all we're gonna do here, and again, you can change the emphasis, even mid-set. You could start with more of a close grip here, inhale down, and then use these for what they are, allowing you to really get that stretch. Breathe, pause for a count or two, exhale up and fully push away those scapula at the top. Spread those shoulder blades around the upper back for that serratus anterior activation. I could start, let's say 30 seconds with a closer grip, and when I widen out, I go from a movement that was a little bit more range of motion close, also a little more tricep, front shoulder. The wider I go, the bigger the stretch on the chest, though it is less range of motion overall. But that'll really, especially the outer pecs. Inhale down, exhale up. So I could change that. Yes, it's hammer grip, but I can change the width to determine how much I want to get of tricep versus chest, or even mid-set, break it up half-half like that. So that is the hammer grip push-up. This is the one you can always go to when you feel wrist or shoulder pain, though we still want to work other grips as well. Hammer grip row, the most joint-friendly option, and this one also, in this palm facing neutral grip, it'll maximize your brachialis, the muscle between the triceps and biceps. There's a maximum brachialis contribution there as well. So it is working your muscles in a unique way beyond providing some grip variation. So what I like to do, I tend to like to grip with kind of a smooth monkey grip over the top without wrapping the thumb. This will make so I really drive the movement through the shoulder for more lat upper back work and less arm flexion that tends to happen when you grip it traditionally. Just make sure you have a good secure grip of it. And our row progression is pretty simple. We start here, all right? And obviously I can go with a TRX or a bar in a Smith machine or power rack and increase the angle to make it easier. But here,
This is our basic starting point. I can then make it harder by straightening my legs and then progressing further to going straight legs, feet elevated. That's how we make that row in terms of level 1, 2, 3 more challenging with your body weight. I'm gonna exhale up, try to crack a nut between those shoulder blades, arms form 90-degree angles, and make sure I'm not going like that, right? Keep the head in line with the spine and think about doing a reverse or back plank while you do this. Inhale down, get a good stretch. Good squeeze for a count or two. Lower down and control on the inhale. Now I can also, to get even more upper back or just overall back contribution, I can widen them out as much as I can while still making sure I actively pull down into the bar so they don't tilt on me like that. And that's gonna definitely, it won't be able to get as much range of motion, but you can't really use the arms much at all there, so it's all back. So even within a single set, let's say it's a minute, I go 30 seconds close, 30 seconds wide, or just mix that up in terms of the spacing of the bar within the same grip. Enjoy this one. Push-ups are typically overhand, right? Your hands are like this, except you're on the floor and you're actually getting the wrists into extension there. So this doesn't require as much wrist mobility, obviously. You can go push-up bars, you can even go, again, fists on the floor if you needed to. But by able to grab a bar like this, we actually can create more shoulder stability and strength. So you'll be stronger in this position. We can also play with our grip. Closer grip, more triceps, anterior delt recruitment, wider grip, more chest. Okay, so we can mix that up. I can even go 20 seconds here, 20 seconds here, 20 seconds here to break it up in kind of a changing grip complex. But let's just show it. And I like those back grips whenever I can to kind of take a little stress off the elbow joint. Inhale down, exhale up. I can also straight bar this, but it's a nice variation to add to the mix. And you'll feel, you know, especially when you can palm press it, the palm action really helps you connect to the pecs in a unique way. So we'll mix this up as well. You can change the spacing, but this is definitely one of those grips that you want to have in your arsenal on the regular. The overhand grip row, much like the overhand grip pull-up, is the most challenging option because you get very minimal arm recruitment. It really requires maximum back strength. So this is a challenging movement, and I'm going to show a couple ways with your row bars how you can make this work. Now, if you want to be within the same unit, you can't get as much width, and based on your shoulder width, you may have to kind of grab a little bit to the outside of this, and I can even kind of, you see the thumb, I just kind of have the thumb go like that. I could wrap it, but going like that on the bar just gives me a little bit better positioning here, and I get locked in, kind of play around with how that feels, and then exhale up, inhale down. You got to make sure you're directly underneath the bar as much as you can so it doesn't tilt on you and you've got that stability. Now, if I want to use both bars, I can set them up like this. I can come in between and consider too, the wider I go, the harder it is, but also, you know, the greater challenge is to keep these bars from doing any sort of kind of tilting on you. So let's say I just go right here, or if I wanted to, obviously it'd be nice to get to those grips, but if you only can get here, that's fine too. But I get locked in, and I've got to just make sure throughout the set, I'm actively kind of pulling down the bar into the ground for stability. It might on the edges come up just a little bit, but the more you control it and get better at the exercise, the less that'll happen. So you've got two different ways to work it, and if you wanted to go, again, more closer grip, you can go within one unit. If you want to go wider grip and get more back and really make it hard, then you can go with 2 bars. I love mixed grip for both push-ups and rows. One arm overhand, one arm underhand. This position right here, where the shoulder has to be wound into external rotation, big mobility challenge, especially if we're really involving wrist support. So it's an advanced movement, but what it also does by doing, you know, overhand, we'll get a slightly different action going for the muscles, right? Over versus under. So it's allowing you to get ready for the most advanced option, which is both underhand. All right, that requires the most mobility. So it allows us to kind of work on one side at a time, all right, as we do it. So I can use my push-up bars to go over under. Same push-up mechanics apply. What you're gonna feel is a little different stabilization challenge. Also, you will feel bigger stretch on the underhand side. So I can do it with the bars. I can also do it with my slant boards. Now, if you really want to challenge yourself, you go fingers elevated on that one side, so bigger wrist stretch, and then also you take already what is a wrist stretch, and you can do it, you know, you can also just go on the floor here, all right? But you know, these are nice, gives you a target to work with. This is obviously the most advanced stretch because of the fact that I'm also elevating that. So I get a major stretch, or I also extend the range of motion off the floor. I can use the slant boards in an easier manner and go like this, flip it the other way, and that's gonna get it so the wrist mobility challenge is not as intense. The cool thing about the slant boards is what'll happen when the wrist is super tight on one side versus the other is you'll notice it might want to spin in on you. That's just you connecting and knowing, okay, I've got to take this outside of my workout and just work on the mobility on that side or both sides. Obviously, this is the biggest stretch you can get. So just pay attention to what's happening at the wrist. This is also kind of a lie detector test for your wrist mobility. So it's not going to be fixed within a single workout. That becomes homework, strengthening that weakness. But a couple options to make it work, and this will really help you get ready for those true reverse grip push-ups, which are coming down the pipe. Mixed grip rows, all right, we have one overhand, one underhand. This is more of a stability challenge. This is more of a mobility challenge. This will be more upper back. This will get a little more biceps and lower lat contribution. So it also helps you kind of get ready for the hardest mobility challenge. Though this is your kind of your strongest position, it's the hardest to get into in terms of having that external rotation mobility at the shoulder. So using a single bar, I'd set up like this, all right, over under, and kind of, again, based on how big your shoulders are fitting within that frame, you can kind of individualize it, whether you're gonna get real close or kind of come out to the edges here. Just get comfortable and then play with what's the best grip for you there. But I get locked in and I come up, control down. Exhale up, squeeze for counter two, lower down and control. Using both bars, just come in here, and this will obviously allow you to get a little more width in the grip. It's really hard to get out there to the ideal position, which is the hand grippers, so you can come here if you need to. So let me just show that. It's still doable, right? And then I just come up, and then, you know, use it as an opportunity too. If you feel like you're stiff on that underhand side, when you get up there, don't just get here. Try to kind of screw in that arm from just screw that shoulder in there and get that maximum contraction just to work on your form and technique. So we'll obviously do both sides. You'll start over, under, left, right. The next set you'll do it, you'll switch other way. Keep that even, and then again, pay attention in terms of which shoulder has a little less mobility, and you can work that on your off days. Underhand grip push-ups, we're testing your shoulder, indoor wrist mobility based on whether you're using the floor, the slant boards, or the bar. And it also has a unique option of giving you a little biceps recruitment into your push-up. So yeah, the push-up tends to think more, you know, pushing muscles, but it actually will get the biceps going in a unique way. So it is a valid variation, and it's definitely a challenging one, which is why I put it towards more the end of the circuit. So you're super warm. We've actually done some movements to get you ready to get to this position. So when you're using the bars, not as much of a wrist mobility demand. So still gonna really test your external rotation shoulder mobility, but most people have no problem getting into this position from a wrist standpoint. So lower down, and then you're actually coming, you know, the hands are kind of underneath the pecs in a way that they typically aren't when you're overhand. You know, they're right about nipple level here, but the way this will work, you're actually kind of coming forward a bit more and getting a really big stretch on the chest, the shoulders, chest, and again, you'll feel really good bicep action there too. Beyond that, here's the most advanced option. I'll show the modification. Obviously, I can do my just on the floor like this, which is fine, all right? But the one thing about it is, you know, you don't get the range of motion you'll get if you elevate on the slant boards. This is the most challenging option because I'm reversing my grip and I'm elevating the heel of the hand, so the wrist stretch is just tremendous. All right, now the way to make it so you can get in this, if this is not comfortable on the floor, you can go like this. All right, just turn them the other way, and you kind of grab it like this. You see how my hand's positioned? So this just gives me like a really anatomically joint-friendly position to work with or start with. It'll also give me a little more shoulder stress at the bottom as it kind of shifts me forward more, that training angle. So lower. So you'll feel a little more shoulder muscle work and then less strain in the wrist. So that's a workaround there as well. And you can play with the width, all right? The wider you go, the bigger the mobility demand. So coming in closer will mitigate some of that stretch as well. So love this variation. And again, anytime you work the biceps, you know you want to do it. Underhand grip row, your strongest position because you actually get maximum biceps recruitment, but a lot of times people have poor shoulder mobility. So, you know, they only can get their arms about here. To get your arms here in a straight bar, you need a lot of external rotation. So we're building that weakness into this. Now, you'll also notice as I get on these bars and show both the 1 and 2 bar option. Overhand grip rows, you notice, you know, you're pulling across chest level, but you have a little more kind of elbow out, all right? And your arms might be a little bit higher without, you know, shrugging, still packing those things down and back. When you have an underhand grip row, you actually pull it a little bit lower to kind of the lower ribs or upper abdomen. And you can see too, the elbows are really tight to the sides. So this change in arm action gives you a completely different effect on the back. It's a back exercise, both are, but they work it in a different way, which is why you want to do both from workout to workout, set to set, you know, so you can have some fun with that. So here we go. Here's the option within the same bar. You know, coming super close, we'll get a lot of arm recruitment, but it's also really tough to pull off. So you can play with that really close grip. But typically you want to go to the max width of that single bar. And again, just find a way to put the thumb in the best position. You can wrap it, but the way these kind of circle out, you just want to kind of secure the thumb in my opinion. And then just focus on pulling low to the chest and really cracking it up between those blades. And then feel those low lats kick in a way you typically won't on an overhand row. And then we have our, you know, this option here where I can kind of get the width I'm looking for. Underhand, really tough to get. I mean, it's kind of like, the good thing about what we did starting the workout with the wide underhand grip pull-up, that's a more extreme joint angle. So it's much easier to get into this position, wide underhand grip from a row because of the arms being at shoulder level versus overhead. But you can see how hard it is to maintain it. So if you can't get that wide grip, you just come out here a little bit closer, all right? And then squeeze it, come down. Keep those thumbs out. All right, inhale it down. And while you're up there, don't just pull up and out. Try to corkscrew. See this action? I want you to actively be pulling the thumbs out, especially as you get to the top. That's gonna maximize the effect of the movement in terms of getting the mobility and maximum gains, okay? It's a focus, and again, that's why I start with your knees bent before you straighten the legs or even elevate them, so we can focus on something like that. If the load's too heavy, we couldn't have that focus. Quick method behind the madness of this flow. So we start with, you know, 3 moves just as warm-up drills, but also just reminders, refreshers on what you can do for off days, active recovery, work on weaknesses. But those 3 drills are setting you up for the rest of the workout. Then we go into a really classic high volume body weight chest and back workout. We're doing 5 sets each of push-ups and rows, a classic push-pull superset, 60 seconds of work, 30 seconds of rest. So, you know, big focus is try to get 10 reps every 60 seconds. I don't want you trying to get maximum repetitions, especially early on, early exposures to this. Let 10 be a good guide for you and just focus on getting a good pause when it comes to the row or the push-up, a good 1 or 2 second pause in the stretch position. When it comes to the row, a good 1 or 2 second contraction. And then once you can do 10 reps on every set of every movement there, you can look at progressing to, let's say, going from push-ups, feet on the floor to feet elevated, all right? Or with the row, knees bent to legs straight to feet elevated like we showed. Or then you can start to play with, you know, getting as many reps as you can within the time frame. But I like a slower, eccentric, a good 1 or 2 second pause between the transition of up and down. And I think you get the most out of the workout that way. But this is this is gonna create some muscle damage and some muscle soreness. You gotta stay on top of your foam rolling, your self-massage, get your protein intake up. It may look easy on paper, but we're setting you up for some really advanced work to end the year. So I also this is one of my all-time favorite chest and back workouts. You know, people typically will do this as, you know, chest presses and rows. And this you could apply the same concept with dumbbells or barbells for those movements, but you get so much more core
and posterior chain activation this way. It's less stressful on the spine. You can do it anytime, anywhere, indoor, outdoor. So I hope you enjoyed this one. This is one of my all-time favorite chest and back workouts. So let me know how it goes with the post-workout report in the comment section below. You're done in 20 minutes. Blow it up, baby. Have a great workout.
Go. Halfway. Rest. 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 Go. Halfway. Rest.